So this is what my triangle looks like now. And it says in the problem, it says it wants you to find cosine of theta and cosecant of theta. Well, cosine, we have a definition of that, and it's side adjacent over hypotenuse. Well, here's my angle. Adjacent is the one beside it. Hypotenuse is 2. So there's the cosine. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. Now, we were already given sine. They told us that sine was 1/2. If I flip 1/2, I get 2 over 1, which is 2. That means that cosecant is 2. So that's how I would do that one. We should probably do another one of those, though. So let's see, let's take a look at number 20. It says, given that secant is the square root of 5 over 2, find tangent and cosine. Okay, so let's think about what they've given us. They've given us secant. And secant is a reciprocal of cosine, which means that cosine is 2 over square root of 5. And cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, which means that 2, which is adjacent because it's the top number, is here, and hypotenuse is here. So if I wanted to find the rest of it, c squared equals a squared plus b squared. C is square root of 5. The legs, remember, it doesn't matter which one we label. Anytime you square something that is a square root, it just comes out from underneath the radical. Think of it this way. If I squared 5, I would have 25, and the square root of 25 is 5. So anytime you square a square root, it just comes out. Bring the 4 over. 5 minus 4 is 1, which means that b is equal to 1. So this side is equal to 1. So tangent is opposite over adjacent, so opposite and adjacent. So tangent of theta would be 1 over 2. And cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent is the one beside my angle. And hypotenuse is square root of 5. Now, if you'll remember, whenever we have, let's go back and look at that, make sure I have the right. If you'll remember, we had 2 over square root of 5. And I told you that in books, they're going to want you to simplify it. They're not going to want you to have a radical there. And if you've forgotten how to do this, go back and look at my video about the basic math and the calculator. But you can't have a square root on the bottom, so I need one more 5 to make this work. So I'll multiply by square root of 5 over square root of 5. And the top, I get 2 square root of 5. On the bottom, since I have 2, it comes out. So this is the final answer then for that one. So on that one, I found the tangent and the cosine. Let's look at one that has a decimal in it. How about number 22? So it says cosine of theta is equal to 0.0326. Now, I would probably use my calculator for this one because it says in exercises 21 through 24, the values are approximate. So that means that they're using a calculator. So if you remember from my video about the calculator, there was a button on your calculator that looked like this. So if you hit second cosine and 0.0326, it is going to give you the angle that comes from. So if I hit second cosine 0.0326, I get an angle of approximately 81.13. We're going to use approximate. It doesn't tell me how to round, I don't think. No, it doesn't tell me how to round, so I'm just going to round to 2 decimal places. So that's the angle that these are coming from. So that's theta. So if I want to find sine of theta and tangent of theta, now all I do is punch in sine of 88.13. The curvy lines mean approximate, so I'm going to hit sine of 88.13 on my calculator. and I get approximately 0.9995 if I round. If I do the tangent of 88.313, I get 30.63 if I round. So that's what we're doing on those. We're just doing an approximate answer. So that takes you up through the problems like number 24.